Something had come over the car, some object, 3 red lights in a triangular shape. I'm in JR2Q and I seen identified flying object here in the Hickory Apache Reservation.
So as we conducted our investigation here in Dulce, we've heard a lot of interesting stories, but we're still left with a question mark. And naturally, that leads our investigation to one place, Archuleta Mesa itself. It's treacherous and it's dangerous, so for safety reasons, just Pat and I are going to go there, and we're going to see what we can discover.
Given the vastness of the area, it would be a little bit silly for us to go it alone up here. So we brought Richard along because he's an experienced guide. He's been up here before. He's familiar with the area. And he's seen a vent or some kind of hole in the mountain before, so we're trying to find that now. The cab ride up was no luxury tour. It was a rough ride, a lot of bumps. The trail alternated between snow and gravel. I think Kevin looked a little bit green on the way up. The snowcat has just dropped us off at the top of Archuleta Mesa. We're finally here, over 9,500 feet, overlooking the entire Hickory Apache Reservation. And the view is spectacular, and I can't help but think that if there's any truth to this story, that there is an underground base here. We couldn't be any closer to it.
Been waiting a long time for this, to get to actually to the top of Archuleta Mesa. And if there is an underground base here, and this is where we're going to find it.
So Richard, we're finally here at the edge of Archuleta Mesa, supposedly where so much of the activity is going on. You're our guide here. What do you know about what's going on around here?
There's a lot of things out here that we see flying in the sky, and I'd rather keep them to myself. There's a lot of people around here that's the same thing.
If you leave the reservation with these stories,
yeah,
people don't believe you.
They think I'm nuts.
What have you seen up here?
Me and one of my cousins, we walk in the edge. We spotted a hole on this thing.
A hole?
Now I hear things that it's a vent or things like that.
It seems like Richard is hesitant to tell his story or his experiences. I'm not sure why. But then he goes on to tell me about a hole or event that he discovered. Now he's not sure what it is, but I think that maybe this could be some evidence to show us that there is something underneath Archuleta Mesa. Before coming up here, so many people have wondered what these mystery towers were.
Some towers are transmitters for TVs and things like that.
From down on the ground, they look like something special, out of place, out of the ordinary, but from right here, it just makes sense. I really want to find a vent. That's really what I want to find. Well, I'm going to pull out the infrared camera and see if there are any unusual heat signatures in the area. The FLIR camera is measuring the difference in heat, and it's primarily used by law enforcement to hunt suspects at night. Now, what we're going to do is look for anomalies in the ground. If there is an air vent, if there's hot air coming out, it's going to be a different temperature than the surface of the mesa itself, and we're going to find it. I don't expect any kind of sign that says welcome to the underground base or any armed guards or anything like that. What I'm hoping for is just some signs of human activity that's just kind of out of place.
That looks really interesting.
I did see something interesting just down below. It was a mound of snow, and there was an outcropping of rock just on the southern face of it. And it had an interesting marking on it. Saw it with binoculars. When I took the infrared camera to it, it looked completely normal.
While Kevin scanned the mesa with the FLIR camera, I pressed Richard a bit more about what he knew about the area. He began telling me about a tunnel system that he knew existed around here.
We got one that's over here on the east side from us. It's just a stream of this water down here. It moved down about 14 miles into that mountain you see over there.
he did tell me that there are underground tunnels to the south of the mesa.
It's a 14-mile underground tunnel that goes under that mountain there. Everybody knows about this?
Oh, yeah.
And then I asked him if there were any other tunnels that he was familiar with. He said that there were holes that he couldn't take us to.
Are there any other tunnels that you know about?
Yeah, I've seen 2 holes on this side.
There are more tunnels than we know about.
Yeah.
Is there any way you could take us to the holes? And when I pressed him further, he got a little uncomfortable and he just said that's not his way.
I think so. Yeah, I know where it's at, but I don't want to go there.
Okay. You know, it's important to remember that when you come to the Hickory Apache Nation that you're really coming into another country and they do have their own way. It seems like there's a secret in the family that they're not comfortable talking about, that they don't want to disclose, and that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from hanging out with Richard up here. Kevin, how you doing with the FLIR over there?
Tell you the truth, I'm not finding anything unusual. There are some hot spots, but they're all on the sunny side of a rock, the sunny side of a tree, coming to around 70 degrees.
After talking with all the people who live here around the base of the mesa, and even Richard, our guide, who's taken us up here, every one of them has a UFO story. If reality is a consensus of people agreeing on seeing something, then we have to start paying attention to the reality of the Hickory Apache, that they are seeing UFOs, and this does appear to be some kind of UFO area.
Pat and Kevin have seen some incredible things at Dulce. We've heard amazing stories. We've listened to eyewitness testimony, and we've seen credible evidence. But after everything they've seen and heard, they're still on the fence. There's still one more place I want to take Pat and Kevin, which may help bring them around.
I really find it hard to believe that there's a secret bunker hidden somewhere here.
Best way to keep a secret? Hide it in plain sight.